first of all, I'd like to be with Mitchell Robinson on that boat. That looked pretty great. No offense to you guys. That would be pretty fun to do right now. But, look, do I think Mike Brown should be on the hot seat? No. Mike Brown just got hired. He's a great coach. He's had a lot of success in his career. He's got the Cavs with LeBron James to the finals back in 2007, won 66 games with the Cavs, won Coach of the Year multiple times. He's about as good a replacement that was on the open market as you could find for Tom Thibodeau. However, we are in New York City. I live in New York City. We have heard how excited the Knicks fans are about this team. Obviously, they just made the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. Of course, Mike Brown is on the hot seat because the whole organization is on the hot seat. When you fire your coach after doing something you haven't done in 25 years, after Tom Thibodeau has quite clearly been the best coach in this century for the Knicks the past few years, there's no question what the expectations are in New York. They have to make the NBA Finals, especially, as you said, Courtney, with Jason Tatum now out of the picture with his injury for the Celtics, with Tyrese Halliburton's injury making him now be out of the picture for the Pacers, with Miles Turner leaving the Pacers as well. Those teams are off the board. So you're looking at a situation where it's the Knicks, who are just in the conference finals, and the Cavs, who just lost in the second round, as the two teams that are the co-favorites atop the conference. The Knicks obviously are in the best position they've been in to make the finals since 1999 when they made it the last time. It could arguably be their best chance to win a title since they were in the finals in 1994. And they, by the way, have a 52-year championship drought that everybody here in New York City is desperate for them to break. So, yes, it might not be fair, but that's what the money's for. Mike Brown's going to get a lot of money to coach the Knicks. He's going to be under a lot of pressure to deliver from day one.
Mike Brown is now entering the most high-pressure job in all of sports right now, where you are coming to a team in the biggest, wildest market in New York City, and your expectation is to do something that has not been done for this team since the 70s, is win a championship. That is the boom or bust of Mike Brown. You are a failure for this season if you do not at least make the finals and win a championship and do something when it comes to making the finals that has not been done in this century, right? And you have to do this with a Knicks team that has gotten all the things they've asked for. They got rid of the coach who played them too many minutes. They've added some people on the bench, and now you have no Celtics. You have no Pacers to worry about. You have a weakened East. Giannis is probably not in the playoff picture. Your floor right now as Mike Brown is to get this team to the NBA Finals, which is a tall task. The NBA is unpredictable. Injuries happen. Because also, you make it the finals, OKC is still there, right? You can make it out of the East. You still have a juggernaut, powerhouse team in OKC that you have to get to, but that is still the expectation. Do I think they'll fire him if he does not get to the finals? No, but I think his job could be in jeopardy if they peter out in the first round. Yeah. If they don't go far. Like, that is the margin of error that we're in. And I can't think of another coach in another situation in their first year on the job in a place like New York City where that is the expectation for you.
We've seen the Red Sox finally break their drought to win a title. We've seen the Cubs do it. We've seen the White Sox do it. There is no bigger accomplishment left in North American professional sports than to be the person that brings a championship to the Knicks and their fans. It is what makes it an incredibly attractive job. It's also what makes it an incredibly high stakes and high pressure job. And it's arguably never been higher stakes or higher pressure than it is right now for Mike Brown.
And we know what the shelf life is on NBA coaches. You could win a title and then be fired 2 years later. Yep. Word to Michael Malone. So a lot of pressure for Mike Brown going defense to offense. This is going to be an interesting transition. We'll see if it works out for the Knicks. Hired two-time NBA Coach of the Year, Mike Brown, as their next head coach. Brown's last stop in the NBA was when he was with the Kings, where he was fired in December after a 13-18 start to the season, despite having led the franchise to its first playoff berth in 16 seasons in 2023. Now he heads to New York, where expectations are high after the team reached its first conference finals since 2000. Mitchell.
To move on for the Bucks to maximize what they can get for Giannis, and Giannis to maximize what he can at a championship contender, because I want to see Giannis in a championship contender. I always want to see a top 3 player in the league competing for a championship. But if he wants to stay with Milwaukee and they feel like they've done enough to keep him and they want him to stay there, that to me is more important than what it is to actually get them closer to a championship.
I still think he's going somewhere else. We have heard rumored for a while it's going to be somewhere in the Eastern Conference. Tell me that him in Miami isn't intriguing. Giannis wanting independence from Milwaukee, staying in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks don't feel like an option anymore. That feels like that ship passed. I think Giannis in Miami would probably be the best spot for someone who probably wants to win a championship. He's on the other side of 30. He knows that his time is still limited to do this. Where are you at? Like, you siding with me on here on this Giannis one, or do you think it's LeBron who wants independence? Because what you said is that Luka's the one who has the most to prove for the Lakers this year. Having said that, is LeBron's best chance if he really wants a championship somewhere else?
Well, a couple things. One, I don't think Miami would be the option I would choose if I was Giannis Antetokounmpo and I was looking at my options, given they just finished, I believe, 10th in the Eastern Conference last year and then lost by about 1 trillion points to the Cavs.
Income tax, the team would be built around him, but I digress.
That's fine. They still aren't very close to winning. And to me, this question is very simple. One of these two players has not said he is considering actually leaving his team publicly, right? I'm not disputing Shams' reporting, but Giannis hasn't said anything. The other guy has an agent in Rich Paul who said 5 days ago when he opted into his contract, we're evaluating our options. So to me, if does one guy want to leave or does the other guy want to leave? One guy has said, I'm thinking about leaving, and the other guy hasn't. So to me, this is a very simple choice. I would like to agree with you, but I have to agree with David. LeBron James has publicly said through his agent, I am evaluating my options to have the best chance to win a championship going forward. That is very clearly deciding what it is you want to do. Now, we can debate the merits of how insane that is to opt into your contract when you could be a free agent and have the ability to choose any of the 30 teams and then say, well, I want to take my money and then see if I can potentially go somewhere else. But he has said that. And while, yes, it would be nice if Giannis came out and said that the Miles Turner signing is the greatest signing in the history of signings and that he wants to stay in Milwaukee, he also doesn't have to do that. He's under contract. There's no reason for him to come out and say that. And to David's point, we don't know if he has been discussing that with the Bucks and has teamed up with them in terms of saying, hey, I'd love to have Miles Turner there. But we also didn't have that with LeBron James. If LeBron James on Sunday didn't have his agent say, or his agent didn't just say, hey, we're evaluating our options, deciding what we would be doing, we wouldn't be having this discussion. We're only having it because LeBron and his agent have created this discussion over the past week. So, again, if you ask which one wants independence more, one of them has openly said, I'm thinking about it. So I'm going with that guy.
All right. So we're yet to hear from Giannis. Kind of yet to hear from LeBron. It would be easy if he would come out, too, and say what's going on.
I'd also love to hear, again, I'd love to hear from the Lakers. How about the Lakers say, hey, you know what? LeBron James
can we get an Instagram graphic? Can we say a welcome back, Bronny?
You know, we had the famous facts from David Falk when Michael Jordan came back, right? Mm-hmm. Said there's 2 words from the agency, I'm back. I would love for Rob Pelinka or Jeannie Buss or Mark Walter to put out a statement that said, LeBron, we're thrilled you opted in. One of the greatest players of all time. We're thrilled to have you back. Can't wait to see you on the court with Luka Doncic and J.J. Redick and Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton and Bronny James in September. Let's go back to start of training camp. Let's have everybody get back. We finished top 4 in the West last year. Can't wait to do it again.
Feels like the silence is indicative of something.
I mean, just this entire thing all week has been indicative of something. It's indicative of somebody at least considering their future somewhere else. So,
all right, we leave it there. The Knicks are expected to hire 2-time NBA Coach of the Year Mike Brown as their next head coach. Brown's last stop in the NBA was when he was with the Kings, where he was fired in December after a 13-18 start to the season, despite having led the franchise to its first playoff berth in 16 seasons in 2023. Now he heads to New York, where expectations are high after the team reached its first conference finals since 2000. Mitchell Robinson was asked about the hiring of his new head coach on Instagram, and he said, quote, great pickup.